He had $2.3 billion, everything people dream of, and at 3:47 a.m., standing on the edge of his penthouse, he realized something terrifying. He couldn't remember the last time he felt alive. Michael Chen was 35. Forbes called him the tech genius of the decade. But in that moment, none of it mattered. What happened next changed everything. But to understand that moment, we need to go back to where it all began. Michael Chen wasn't supposed to be successful. At least that's what his high school guidance counselor told him when he said he wanted to study computer science at MIT. Be realistic, Michael, she'd said. Maybe community college first. He never forgot that look, that tone, that assumption. 10 years later, Michael was sitting in a corner office in Palo Alto. He'd made it, co-founder and CEO of Vision Tech, a startup that revolutionized how businesses used artificial intelligence. The day they hit their first million in revenue, his team threw a party. There was champagne, there were congratulations, there was a cake with the company logo. Michael smiled for the photos. He shook hands. He gave the speech everyone expected. But that night, driving home alone in his new Tesla, something felt off. He'd imagined this moment 1,000 times. The victory, the validation, the proof that he belonged. So why did he feel nothing? Michael brushed it off. Just tired, he told himself. Just need some sleep. But sleep didn't come easy anymore. Over the next 3 years, Michael's life became what most people would call a dream. Series A funding, $15 million. Series B, $80 million. By year 4, Vision Tech was valued at over $1 billion. Michael bought the penthouse, the car collection. He wore designer suits and luxury watches. He dated a model named Sienna who looked perfect in photographs. Tech journalists called him a visionary. Magazines put him on covers. His parents finally stopped worrying about him. "You did it, son," his father said. And Michael nodded, smiled, said all the right things. But inside was a growing void he couldn't name. He started working longer hours. 18-hour days turned into 20-hour days. If he stayed busy enough, he wouldn't have to think about the emptiness. He hired a personal trainer, built muscle, looked even better. He bought art he didn't understand. He went to exclusive parties around the world, and everywhere he went, he wore the same mask. Successful, confident, complete. But late at night, alone in his penthouse, Michael would stand at that window and feel absolutely nothing. No joy, no sadness, just emptiness. His assistant noticed first. "You've been staring at that email for 20 minutes, she said. "Fine," he replied. "Just thinking." But he wasn't thinking. His mind was blank. Sienna left him 3 months later. "You're never really here," she said, "even when you're standing right in front of me." He didn't argue. He didn't feel hurt. He just watched her leave. The panic attack hit him during a board meeting. One moment Michael was presenting, the next he couldn't breathe. His heart pounded violently. He locked himself in the bathroom, sat on the floor, tried to remember how to breathe. That's when he saw his reflection, distorted, barely recognizable. "What am I doing?" he whispered. The company doctor called it stress, prescribed medication, suggested a vacation. So Michael went to Bali. He posted photos, captions about gratitude. His followers loved it. But inside, nothing changed. On the 3rd day, he met an old fisherman laughing with his grandson. Michael watched them carefully, and he saw something he hadn't seen in years. Joy. Real joy. "You are troubled," the old man said. Michael laughed bitterly. "Is it that obvious?" The wealthy always look the saddest. Heavy pockets, empty hearts. Those words hit him hard. He flew home the next day. That's when the insomnia got worse. For 2 weeks, Michael barely slept. He lay awake asking questions he'd avoided for years. What am I doing this for? Who am I without this? When did I stop feeling alive? He started driving at night. He saw a father teaching his daughter to ride a bike. He saw teenagers laughing over cheap pizza. He saw an elderly couple walking hand in hand. And something inside him cracked. All this time, he'd been chasing success. But he'd never asked why. That Tuesday night, Michael came home from a charity gala. He gave a speech. People applauded. But inside, something shifted. A voice whispered, "You're living someone else's life." Then louder, "This isn't you?" Then a scream, "Who are you?" He got home, walked to the balcony, and stood there at 3:47 a.m., wondering if any of it mattered. Then his phone rang. "Michael? It's David from MIT. They talked about life, about dreams. Then David asked one question. "Are you happy?" Michael looked out at the city. "No," he said, "I'm not." "Then what are you doing?" Michael didn't have an answer. They talked for hours. And when the sun rose, Michael felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. The next morning, Michael stepped down as CEO. People thought he was crazy, but he didn't care anymore. He spent weeks searching. Meditation, books, podcasts. Nothing worked. Then one day, he walked past a small church. He heard singing inside. Something about it felt real. So he walked in, sat quietly in the back. For the first time in years, he was still. The pastor spoke simply. "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" Michael felt those words deeply. After the service, he stayed behind. "I have everything," he said, "and I feel like I have nothing." The pastor nodded. "Jesus offers rest for your soul." "I don't know if I believe," Michael said. "That's okay," she replied. "He's been waiting for you." Michael came back again and again. Slowly, something changed. He began reading the words of Jesus, and what he found surprised him. Not rules, not religion, but truth, a different way to live. 3 months later, Michael started volunteering, teaching kids how to code, but now he taught differently. Code is a tool, he said, not a purpose. One student asked him, "What changed?" Michael thought for a moment. "I met someone," he said. "I started following Jesus, not just going to church, but actually listening." What did he say? That people matter more than profit. That love is the point. That we're not meant to build our own kingdoms, but to be part of his. Michael sold the penthouse, moved into a small apartment, started helping others. He found something real. He found peace. Not perfect life, but a meaningful one. 2 lessons from Michael's story. First, fulfillment is not external, it's eternal. Money cannot fill what only God can. Second, it's never too late to come home. Jesus meets us in our emptiness, not when we have it all together, but right where we are. Michael once stood on the edge, but grace pulled him back. And now, he lives a life that is real, a life of purpose, a life of peace. And maybe that same invitation is waiting for you.